Yes, folks, you know who it is. This is the Renegade teacher back at you again, reestablishing a connection with Earth. My signal has once again emerged from the dark side of the moon, and I'm ready to take on a new week of challenges with you folks. Tonight I come to you with an article that I found as I explored education news, and I found an article that triggered me in a way that I don't think I've been triggered in a while. I have not read the whole thing, but I found an article that was posted to was recently posted to ABC 15, which is based in Horry County, South Carolina, and the article is titled Horry County School Relaxing Cell Phone Policy to Help Students and Teachers. It was written by Liz Cooper, and I am excited to share this one with you folks. I hope I can contain myself. And it reads as follows. It says, as technology progresses, the age of people getting access to it gets younger and younger. That means schools are having to figure out how to regulate them while maintaining integrity in the classrooms. In recent years, most schools chose to ban them from school during learning hours, but one Horry County school has made a change to the district's policy. The principal of Conway High School says they're allowing students more access to their phones. Quote, young people, teenagers in particular, are very much so dependent in relying on these devices, their cell phones, said Lee James, principal at Conway High School. It's their social world. It is their entertainment. It's how they connect with people. It's how they seek out information. End quote. The author goes on to write, spend just a few minutes talking to any teenager, and it won't take long to see just how much cell phones influence their lives. I'm going to pause here for a moment, folks, and just reflect briefly on the beginning here. This is very accurate, I will say, though I am immediately disturbed with the admittance, the open admittance by this principal that cell phones completely dominate young people's lives already. So it's interesting to see how they get to the conclusion, which we all know where we're headed based on the title of this. It goes on, it quotes a senior at the high school and saying that, quote, there are some people that actually believe their phone is an organ of their body that they could not function without, end quote. The student said she got her first cell phone when she was in second grade. Her generation is known as Gen Z. It's the first one to be considered true digital natives. That means they've grown up with technology influencing just about everything in their day-to-day lives. It goes on to say a Snapchat survey shows on average they spend more than 4 hours a day on their phones, which is longer than any other generation, and that's why Principal James realized they needed to update the district's nearly 10-year-old cell phone policy. Folks, I don't know what your reaction to this is, but if if they are using the digital native Gen Z aspect of this to justify giving students more access in their day to technology, I don't know if I'm in the twilight zone here, folks. It goes on to say, quote, this is the principal again, quote, we were looking at our discipline incidents and how we can reduce those. We noticed there were a large number of students who were receiving cell phone violations, end quote. Folks, we've gone over the edge. This is gonna really make me mad when we have to stop and think here. This is like simply changing the law, making something legal that was previously illegal, so that we have less incidents where we have to report them and make our area look bad. This is unbelievable. This cannot be real. I will say, and I attempted, recently I spotted in another article that I already ranted about. I spotted a section where this issue was discussed about the number of disciplinary incidents needing to be minimized to avoid affecting funding for the schools. And I'll be honest with you, I am not educated enough on the topic of how that all works to give an effective opinion of it, an informed opinion. But I will say that from a teacher's perspective, the idea that that whether or not my student receives the discipline that they deserve based on my judgment as their teacher, if that is being influenced by some quota or some limit that the school has exceeded, if that student is not able to be punished in an appropriate way due to it somehow affecting the data and affecting funding for the school, I completely give up. You can accept my letter of resignation now. I'm on my way out. This is complete insanity. It is completely unacceptable bullshit. I'm sorry, but that is not the way it should work. And whoever set it up that way should be ridiculed publicly. And folks, this is unbelievable. It goes on. It states the cell phone policy from in this school from looks like 2011 and 2014 was when it was originally written, and this now is what they've updated. I want to keep exploring this article with you. It is a treasure trove of unbelievability. It says James, this is talking about the principal. James said keeping cell phones out of students' hands was creating a bigger problem for teachers. Since the policy allows principals to make changes with the district's approval, James said they moved forward with teacher recommendations to do that. Okay, so the teachers in this school wanted to change the policy, and it goes on here, it quotes the principal again as, quote, cell phones were creating a point of contention between them and their students. It was actually interfering with their ability to form positive relationships, end quote. You're damn right, cell phones interfere with young people's ability to form any relationship at all with other human beings in person, and yet they are endorsing that. We have to keep reading before I go off here, folks. He said their answer: let students use them more during school. Conway High School students can now use their electronic devices in between classes. Oh my, folks. It says almost every student has earbuds plugged in, wired to their ears, and cell phones gripped in their phones. I assume they mean in their hands. Or they have a phone for a hand. I'm not sure. It says, however, they still must be out of sight during class. You can't be serious here. So we have the students prior to being dismissed from class now, who are preparing their devices for the transition, and as soon as the bell rings, all of the earbuds fly in, folks. All of the phones fly out. I bet there are students dropping book bags, cell phones shattering. This has to be complete madness. There has to be students running into each other for this quick transition, this quick flood of dopamine for their brains. This is unbelievable. This is literally like trying to like having a problem where all of the students are addicted to cocaine, and during school cocaine is banned, but after a while there's tension between the teachers and the students, and the teachers actually suggest that, while the students are transitioning between classes, that they can crush up a rock and snort it in the hallway before coming back into the next classroom, so that they can have that residual cocaine, in this case with cell phones, that residual dopamine, to hold them over till their next hit. This is sickening, disgusting, and enough to make me want to resign from education for good. Damn it to hell, folks. We can't be serious. I'll continue. The article says, quote, "We have half as many cell phone violations today as we did last year," said James. "I knew they would be excited about it. I didn't know that parents would cheer a change of a cell phone policy." It's obvious that the majority, this is not to say that all, but the majority of parents are lost as to how to control their students, their children, with the use of technology. I'll go on. He said when they announced the new policy in the beginning of the school year, he instantly saw support from the school community. He said students were getting sent home from school for violating the old policy, and it was frustrating parents. Students are also noticing a positive change in the school. I don't know if I can go on with this. Wow. That was nearly the end of it. Folks, so this school is okaying, they are legitimizing, they are decriminalizing the use of cell phones in their school, but only during the changes between classes and during lunch and things like this. This is not going to work in the majority of schools. I don't know, in terms of specific schools, which ones are going to be more socioeconomically affluent versus those who are more impoverished, and how this type of policy would work. They would be drastically different, I'm sure, in some cases, but not all. And I can simply say that this is absolutely insane. I honestly am going to need a blood pressure cuff to bring it back in here and make sure that I don't lose my mind. Our students are already completely mind blown. They're unable to process information anymore that is not in the digital format of a 30-second to 3-minute video clip. And we actually have schools now who are legitimizing, decriminalizing the use of cell phones, and simply sending a message to students that it is okay to get that dopamine hit in between classes. And folks, this is a train wreck. We are in a train wreck situation, and it's driving me insane. How in the world does anyone think that this is going to work? Truth be told, the only reason students are allowed to have a cell phone on them at school is to make an emergency call in the event of an emergency situation. And in 2020, folks, there is absolutely no excuse for there having not been already developed, implemented, and widely deployed to all schools a very inexpensive system with which students could be given a medallion, a pager type device, a very tiny device that could accomplish the same functions as a cell phone in terms of making emergency calls. Perhaps it could be programmed with 2 or 3 numbers in advance, and that very cheap device could be the replacement for the smartphones and the cell phones that are on students, that they don't need to be there during the school day. And there's no excuse for this already not having been taken on and solved. It's disgusting to me how little attention any of this problem gets. How in the world our society has gotten to the point of minimizing the focus on education. This all makes me want to absolutely just give the hell up, folks. But we're not going to do it. We're going to continue fighting for rationality in education. We're going to continue on the journey. As for tonight, I'm going to put on a blood pressure cuff, reel this one in. As always, if you're enjoying the content on the channel, please consider subscribing, like the video, and maybe give it a share. The show has now made it onto iTunes, so if you prefer that format, go for it. And likewise, if you're hearing this on iTunes, be aware that the YouTube channel is also a thing, so feel free to follow that as well. I would like to encourage you to leave a review on the iTunes show. That would definitely be a great way to show some support. As always, folks, I will catch you in the next rant, in our midweek rant. I will catch you then, and stay safe and stay honest. And this is the Renegade Teacher signing off.